and welcome to the postseason interview with the coach of the Detroit Luxrays, Gamer Views. First and foremost, of course, the question that is always on everybody's mind: how are you doing today, my friend? How is everything going?
Oh my gosh. I honestly really can't complain. Uh getting ready for season 2.
Oh yeah.
And really just busting out work and everything, just doing like the IRL stuff outside YouTube. How's everything going with you?
Pretty good. Pretty much the same thing. Getting ready for season 2. We have our draft going on right now, so it's pretty intense currently. Waiting to see the rest of our picks. But yeah, so far so good. Thank you for asking. So to get right into the questions surrounding the season, with the first season done and dusted, would you say the Elite Battle League was more or less what you expected it to be?
I would say in terms of everybody who participated, it was a blast. We all had such a fun time. I mean, I know you and Inferno Men I'm sure had a lot of fun as well doing the weekly roundups and everything. And just like watching everybody's videos, you could tell we're all very passionate. We all had fun and everything. At the end of the day, it was all good and fun. In terms of my own personal thing with the way how the season went, it could have gone better for
Mhm.
me. Especially, I did mention this in my battle with Stone Family 64 in the first round of the playoffs. I should have Dynamaxed that Toga Kit. I should have Dynamaxed Toga Kiss and went for the max guard instead of holding off on Colossal. But again, just things you kind of chalk up on and remember for next time.
Mhm. So did with that being said, did some things maybe surprise you with the season, or did you kind of know exactly what you were expecting throughout the season?
It it really surprised me. It just really shows that some people have team builds I would never really think of doing with
Mm,
certain Pokemon. I think one of my biggest issues was going into this thinking everybody's gonna have like the competitive builds and everything, like the signature moves, really things that you would normally expect on a certain Pokemon,
right.
and when it's not there, it just throws you for a loop.
Interesting. Okay. So can you give an example of someone you faced or a Pokemon you faced that was like way different than what you were expecting?
Aegislash.
Okay.
Aegislash. I was expecting that King Shield the first
Right.
time battle against Stone. I was expecting it. Didn't show up. So at least that way I knew in the second time around, like I'm not gonna fall for that.
Yeah. That was interesting because I can't remember who else faced him who said literally the same thing as you. Why didn't you have King Shield? um, so moving on, were you like looking back on it? Would you maybe have approached this season a little differently? Maybe going back to the way you drafted, or just kind of your general preparation for matches. Would you have maybe done some things differently?
Um, yeah, I would have drafted some different Pokemon for sure. I mean, just the way I've been drafting as of right now this season, I think has been a step up.
Mm,
I feel like a lot of my Pokemon in the last season, I was relying more on stat boosts and just really moves that like decent support moves, but not really helpful enough for an overall team.
right.
So,
So,
but yeah,
oh, um, looking back at your regular season, your 5 matches, were you more or less satisfied with how your season went? I know that might be a little bit of a dumb question. I know you didn't get off to the strongest of starts, but you ended on a good note. You ended on a very good note. So would you say you were more or less satisfied with how your regular season went?
yeah, I would say so. I again, and you guys blast me for this so many times. I always rely. I take what you guys say to heart. It really do. It really does impact how I handle future weeks.
Mm,
Um, because I learned uh that I kind of focusing again more like on those stab boosting moves, which I really think what kind of kicked me in the butt
mm,
last season with my team was I wasn't doing that much in terms of support in general or like status conditions or just even a simple protect.
right.
Like I was either going into an attack or boosting my stats. That was it, and that's something that I really need to change. But like honestly, going 2 and 3 though, it was good because the last two wins was kind of like a turning point for me
Mhm.
as a competitor in the EBL, I would say.
And they were impressive wins as well. I'll give you that. They were very impressive wins. Um, so in the preseason interview, we talked about goals. We talked about some things you were going to try to achieve this season. So would you say that do you feel that you lived up to the goals that you set yourself before the season kicked off?
I don't really feel like I did, to be honest with you. My goals were really kind of just, well, aside from kind of going out there, doing my best, having a fun time, that was good. But overall, some of my goals really weren't achieved.
Mm,
But hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'm just gonna take what I wanted to do last season and bring it forward this season.
right. And that's a great mentality to have. Um, that's I kind of brought this up in a couple interviews already, but that's also another interesting point that I feel like isn't really getting addressed a lot. Is that how like everybody's focusing on the new guys, right, and how the new guys are going to play, but nobody's really focusing on how the original six, how they're going to change, because it's very possible that they change the way that they battle. So interesting topic there. But we spoke on it a little bit with your team. You said you would have drafted a bit differently. So if you could have changed your team in any way, how would you have changed it?
I would have used some more. Well, granted, it's probably going to be playing a role of how I'm doing my team build now.
Mm,
Is having much more variety for sure. I had a, a bunch of my Pokemon had like a significant weakness
mm,
altogether. So unless I could bypass that one weakness, I was basically done for. So that's definitely one thing that I feel like my team's gonna be improving on a lot more.
mm,
And just kind of just I mean, I do have like some like builds in mind, but then also having builds be made where I could just change them week to week, so that way people in the previous week are not expecting the same move set again if they see that
right.
Pokemon.
So with that being said, was it tough for you to adjust your team, or or was it just easy for you to kind of use them in battle?
In terms of the first season,
Yeah.
or okay, it was a little bit of a struggle at first to kind of use them because obviously with one of the rules we have, you have to use every mon at least once, and I I already know right off the bat, Rabambi I could have used much better earlier on.
Mm,
That was one big mistake on my part that I thought it could probably be better, but it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. But again, I that's another thing as well. I'm not going into this team build now with a idea of what could be uh what's something like nobody's gonna
mm,
expect. But that being said, the Pokemon I've already selected so far, people are gonna have an idea, but not know how to handle in certain Pokemon. I already know I believe it was Eilon Wolf has called out one of my picks already, which again, it's gonna be a given of one of the moves that's gonna have,
mm,
that's for sure. But it's it's like I'm not. It's gonna be how do I handle every other move on this Pokemon aside from that one.
right. So maybe beyond the team challenges that you had, were there any other sort of challenges you struggled with throughout the season? And if so, were you able to solve them?
Yeah. I again just kind of go back to really what my mindset was at the start of the season to the end was that not everybody's going to have a competitive mindset. Not everybody's going to um think like 2 3 steps ahead. I mean, honestly, by the end of it, I was felt like I was playing a 4D chess against myself. It made me second guess a lot of actions and
Mhm,
everything, and just kind of taking that step back and realizing that like yeah, like everybody select these mons for a reason. But that being said, they may not select it for the reason that you're thinking of. They may not have that move, or they may not do a swap when you think they're gonna do a swap,
right,
and it's just things like that you have to kind of keep in mind.
right. Were there any other problems maybe before the season that you were kind of thinking would be a problem, but never actually bothered you at all?
This one's gonna be a little weird, but I would say how the synergy it would be between myself and the competitor, because prior to the EBL, I never did any kind of recordings with anybody on the EBL. So my biggest thing was like I didn't want to really feel like it was going to be a just like a quick hi bye scenario. That's really it. Like when I play against people, I want to like have talk with them. I want to talk to them before, talk with them after, and just try and get like an overall feel.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to say that everybody was that kind of person. It was just very easy to talk to them and everything. And I mean, I'm dropping this right now. This like the reason why Always More and I are doing a collab right now is because of our EVL battle.
And that's been a big thing that everyone's brought up as well. It's just the camaraderie between all of you guys that definitely formed. Stone actually brought you and Derek up as like great examples of how friendships have like blossomed out of this. And I agree, that is really awesome to see. And that was one of the big things that everybody kind of talked about before the season even started as well. Just kind of wanting to build more friendships beyond collabs, just building friendships in general. And I think
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
and it's really 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 awesome to see. I'm looking forward to that season 2, finally being a part of it. So shifting focus on the sort of transition from regular season to postseason, you end your regular season on a 2-win streak against the Chicago Score Bunnies, and you also took down the Everglade Entes, two very tough opponents, but you managed to get through them. So you find out your matchup, your very first playoff matchup, is against the Atlanta Braviary. What are some thoughts that are running through your head as you headed into playoffs?
I just knew what kind of team he was gonna come out with. There really wasn't anything that I was not expecting any kind of curveball with him. Like I said, I learned from our first battle how he played, so I mean you could watch it as well. Up until he Gigantamax's Lapras, it was a 1-for-1
Yeah.
deal. Like we were knocking each other out back and forth. It wasn't a one-sided thing like how our first battle
Right.
was. Uh, but like again, I went in with like with my gut feeling, the best build I could do, and I did throw in some surprises as well. I'm like, I know that that Stone was telling me that he was expecting me to again do some more stat boosting
Hmm.
moves, doing some things that I did not do, and that really threw him for a curveball as well.
So it's interesting because Matt likes to say that. I believe him that Lapras was his plan all along. Um, but you unfortunately fall to the Braviary in the first round of the playoffs. What were some of your immediate thoughts after that final match?
I could have done better. I again, if if I ever think about that battle anymore, it's gonna be that Dynamax Togekiss. That's like it's really like that's one of the biggest things right there. Is just I could have played my Dynamax a lot
Hmm.
better, but aside from that, I don't think I could have done that battle any better than I did
Hmm. So I'm
overall.
sorry.
Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
Uh, so you get through all that, and looking back on your season as a whole, and everyone, just the Elite Battle League season 1 as a whole, what are some of your thoughts after after it's all said and done now?
So I think that we have started something that is really fun. We already got. I mean, when we announced season 2, we got we got every additional spot filled up immediately
Hmm.
and everything, and it's just gonna be something that's just gonna give just like our group of like PokeTube, like our small group of PokeTubers, a chance to just go have
Hmm.
fun, collab, communicate, make new friendships, and really just enjoy some very fun battles and everything. So I think the EBO ended season 1 on a good start, and I think season 2 is just going to be even better.
So speaking on season 2, you sound like it. We briefly talked about it before we started recording, and I have a feeling I know the answer. But are you excited about being a part of the next season and trying your hand again at the Elite Battle League?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm looking at our division right now. I am still mad that I'm so mad about the division I'm in because it's me, Matt, and so me, Stone, and Guanaco in the same division. Two of the people I lost against, I'm in the same division with.
So, so that being said, are you feeling um up to the challenge to try and improve on what you did in season 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the Pokemon who I am bringing on, and none of them are going to be what I use in season
Mm.
1. So it's just going to show, it's going to offer a lot more variety and everything. And some of the mons are ones that were seen in season 1, but I already know I'm building them
Mm.
differently. And it's going to be something worthwhile to see.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And for the final question of the interview, if you could rate your personal season out of 10, what would you give yourself?
6. I again, if I were to just look at the first 3 weeks, that would be a 3. But then it's just that reasoning of building up and learning and improving that really brought it up to a 6 overall for me.
Awesome, and that's kind of been one of the more common answers. I feel like people have been kind of giving themselves 6s. Just room for improvement is what I like to think when you give yourself a 6. So with all that out the way, I'm gonna throw it over to you. This is your time to plug all your good stuff and all the links and such. So I'll throw it over to you. Your time.
I know. So I do Pokemon fan game content. Right now I'm doing a Let's Play a Pokemon Full Moon version. I do have a sleep lock on the way, planning for it in about 3 weeks. Let me take a look at the calendar. Sorry, planning about it in like 4 weeks. It's gonna be, I'm calling it the cancel sleep lock. So more news on that will be coming soon. Also, if you want to check out my merch, it's gonna be down in the description. Gamer reviews, the Teespring store, support Detroit Luxrays, and yeah.
Awesome. And that's that for the Detroit Luxrays postseason interview. To my man Max, best of luck to you in season 2. I'm very excited to potentially end up facing you. We'll see whether it'll happen or not. And yeah, there you have it. I hope all of you have a fantastic day. Hopefully you enjoy the interview, and we'll see you real soon for the start of season 2 of the Elite Battle League. Take care, guys. Bye.